That's why we changed it. We de-emphasized the Alliance of Nigerian Entrepreneurs and now use ANE. And that's
up in a few days.
yes.
Please tell us about it.
Okay, so we actually one of the things is because this is our first year as well. Many of the things we're doing that for the first time. But it's not because we lack the experience. We actually are pulling lots of experiences together from running different organizations, and we have very capable hands in the room. There's a lady called Joanne who runs Rubicon Event Management. She's actually working with us on this. She's on our executive team. We have a guy who just came in from Nigeria. He's called Mr. Fixit. He runs Oof Events. We have Grandil, Julia Bebiem. So we have wonderful, capable hands in-house. What we're doing with this program is that we call it a business advantage symposium, where we're providing a platform for people to meet experts in the industry. Experts from the mayor of Oakville. The venue of the event is going to be in Oakville. So the mayor himself will be there to tell us what opportunities are available, not just for the city of from town of Oakville, but he also from my understanding, also heads the council that governs the region of Halton. So that's a double advantage for us. So we can also know what's available. And we have the director of the Sheridan Edge program. Her name is Renee Devereaux. She'll tell us how they run their programs for entrepreneurs. We have Dr. Toyin Olutoyin Oyelade. He's the CEO of CASA Foundation and InviCap. She's a wonderful lady, Nigerian by birth. They run a program very similar to what we are also aspiring to do, but they have branches across the country. We have a number of people. We're also talking to one of the ministers of Ontario. We don't yet have confirmation leadership there, but the intention is to give people the opportunity to hear what's available. That's one. But secondly, which is the what people seem to like most, is that they will have an opportunity for a one-on-one with these people. So that will give you opportunity to share things you can't say in public. Say it to the person and say, this is what I like to do. And that will be fantastic. And we'll be doing a lot of other things. So it's going to be wonderful. There will just be 50 people in the room. It's a very constrained environment. We're going to be streaming it live so everybody can watch it. But for the people who are physically in the house or in the environment, it's going to be heaven on earth. It's going to be beautiful. Yeah. Okay. And there'll be a lady called Ade later in the day who will also be on ground. I will be shooting away with blogging, chatting, and giving people up to date with what's happening. So we look forward to a wonderful time.
Wow, that's great. Okay, so this is when did you guys start the magazine?
Okay, so this magazine was actually started in the month of February, during the Black History Month. And why we started it was because we said to ourselves that there's no better person to tell our stories than ourselves. Well, for so long, the story of the black man has been written by people who know little or nothing about us, and written in a way that does not put us in the best of light. And so we decided to write our own stories. And guess what? I've used myself as the first example. So the first feature of our magazine was about my story, how I came into Canada, the challenges I went through. It says Eman. Eman is the name that I'm called, apart from my not normal names. So the man, the mission, the ministry, because there are different aspects to me, a lot more than even Aneglobal. I also run and lead a consulting practice called Tendermate Consulting, and that's bringing my years of experience with Accenture. Accenture is a company that I worked with for 12 years, and one of the leading consulting international companies. So I do that. I also lead a ministry called Manifesting Him Ministries, which I've done for 7 years now. So there are different aspects. I also coach basketball. I coach basketball children in the ages of 8 to 16. I have an organization called TAD Youth Empowerment and Sports Institute. So through these avenues, I'm able to do everything. And I felt these are things that I was talking about. So put that in the magazine, and that came out. Interestingly, I shared this in Ottawa. I had the privilege of going to Ottawa, and I shared it with some of the very high, powerful people over there. And then the second edition, this magazine comes out once in 2 months, and it's called The Entrepreneur. Second edition came out in April. It's still very fresh. And this is Joanne, who I referred to earlier. She owns and manages Rubicon Events Management. And then this is, basically talks about her story, a remarkable story. She recently turned 40 at the beginning of this year. So this tells her story. This is one of our advertisers, a wonderful, and that's one funny thing. We have people advertising who are non-Nigerians because they see the value and they want to be part of the success story. This is a wonderful man called Sharik Qureshi, who has been part of us with many of our programs. If he was Nigerian, he would be older than many people in Aneglobal, given how long he's been part of what we do. So this is Joanne, and then we also have we put our information about us here. We have a WhatsApp group. In fact, we actually have 3 of them. Between those 3, we have over 300 people. One of them is focused on Nigerian content because, like I said, we started with Alliance of Nigerian Entrepreneurs. Then we have a second one which we call ANA Plus. ANA Plus has Nigerians and all people from across the black community, and that's to ensure that we don't dance too much to one particular tribe. And then we have a third one called ANA Sprightlypreneur, which is for the youth. We launched that in February during the campus symposium we had in Hamilton. That one is for students in the colleges or universities as well as fresh graduates. So those are the 3 channels in which we communicate and engage.
Sweet. So where do you see Aneglobal in the next, let's say, 3 years? Because you're doing so much in such a short period of time, so I won't go too far. So the next 3 years, what do you see?
Thanks. It's a very good question. We want in the next 3 years to be the preferred choice for any black aspiring entrepreneur who wants to be successful in running an enterprise. And what that means is that whether you're in Ontario or you're in Alberta or you're in British Columbia, want to be the name on people's lips. I want to join this organization. I want to be part of the experience. And our vision is not just localized to Canada, by the way. We expect either this year or very early next year, late this year or very early next year, to break into the US. So we also expect to continue the same story. And we're planning a number of things. I'm privileged to have worked with Accenture because that gave me over 12 years working across different geographies. I've worked with projects in Africa, worked with projects in Europe. So that has in the US exposed me to whatever I do has to be international, just by the way I think. And so that's why we believe that we know we have what it takes. Working there showed me that I was leading people from the US, I was leading people from Europe, from India, from Spain. So it's very easy for me to believe that this can be replicated, but even more so with people that look and talk like me. And it's just exciting, yeah.
Wow, yeah. That's great. So what would you say, besides working,
yes,
where you've worked, what would you say is the innermost? Because sometimes we can work, we get tired, especially maybe when you're coming across a lot of blockage, you just get exhausted trying to do things and it's not working.
Yeah.
But if it's something that is in you, you just have that belief, you just have that vision that that this is what you've been called to do, you don't get tired, you just keep going. So what would you say has been yours, or has it been something from birth?
Yeah, no. Mine is a very peculiar story, which I'll try and abridge it because I don't know how long we have. The first time I came to North America was 2004. Shortly after I got married. That was exactly 20 years ago. Was it 2004? 2003. I had what was called the H-1B visa. I went to the US. So I got to the H-1B. I got there, but the company had made the decision not to go ahead with hiring. So I got there. I couldn't do the job. I couldn't take up the job. I stayed with an uncle of mine, but I was determined I wasn't going back home to Nigeria. Now the person I was staying with was a minister, pastor. So he was encouraging me. I was looking for jobs and stuff. Eventually, one day we had a visit by he told me they were prophets, a couple, white couple. And so when they were leaving, they started praying for every member of all of us. The person they prayed for before me was a young lady. And I remember vividly that what the lady said was, "I see a green grass." And when she said that, I was excited that this is the kind of place I want to be. So when she got to my turn, she hesitated. I looked over I stood there again, and she said, "God says you are jumping too ahead of his time. That he's not yet ready. The best decision you can take now is to go back home." Go back to where? All of my friends, everybody I knew was coming to America or outside Nigeria. But you see, even though I did not like the decision, the challenge I have is I was born and raised in a Christian family. I lose the ability to fight when I feel God is on the other opposite way. So that's why reluctantly I went back to Nigeria, and that was shortly before I joined Accenture. This was 2003. I joined Accenture in 2005. And I worked for 12 years. But the good thing is that in 2004, because I'm a Christian, God gave me a word in Isaiah 46, verse 9 to 11. Verse 11 says, "Calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executes my counsel from a far country." I've known that person may have referred to Cyrus in the Bible, but this also refers to me. So I believed it, but the question was, how was I going to make it happen? Because I knew that there was a part of my ministry that was outside the country. But that later passage of that, part of that passage says, "I will do it," which meant God said He was going to do it. And miraculously, fast forward to my career in Accenture, which was 12 years and very wonderful career. My coming to Canada was actually all paid for by not the ticket, but the work permit and everything was paid for by the organization. So when I look at that, I realized that it was really God doing. So there's a part of me that believes that I've come on an assignment. I'm not just an economic migrant. I'm here on an assignment to fulfill destiny. And so that's what drives me. But what's also important is that when I came here, without understanding, I expected things to flow for me. They did not. I've been in Canada. This is my 7th year. For 5 years, I was struggling. Things were so bad, I thought I was going to die. But when God brought me out of that, I realized that even those challenges were all part of the package.
Next step, go to my 12. Get so basket of tomato, do this, do that. After that, go to Jora.
effort.
Definitely.